Okay, so technically, Friday the 13th, Part 1 is a summer film. Hi, welcome back to the channel. Consider subscribing. Give this video a thumbs up. I'm just going to give you a rundown what the movie's about. A group of teenage camp counselors attempt to reopen an abandoned summer camp with a tragic past, and they are stalked by a mysterious, relentless killer. Yeah, this is the film that kickstarted a franchise really known today for Jason Voorhees, for Camp Crystal Lake. Some of those items are in here, yeah, some of those characters, but I think this film gets overlooked a lot of times, and for good reasons. I decided to watch this one because I was in the mood to watch something summer themed and in the horror genre. So respectively, I chose Friday the 13th. Now this film came out in 1981. I wasn't born then. I'm sure a lot of you watching this video probably weren't either. It's directed by Sean S. Cunningham, and it stars a lot of B-list actors, including a young Kevin Bacon and Betsy Palmer, which I will get into at the end of this review. Towards the end of this review, it's fun. It's all in good fun. If you guys like found footage horror films, the kills in this movie, they are from the point of POV perspective. We don't see the reveal of the killer until the very end, which is a positive. It's a slow burn. We spend a lot of time with these people who, right off the bat, this film gives off suspense vibes, not so much paranoia. We're slowly introduced to these people one by one. They make their way to this camp. They have 2 weeks. They have 2 weeks to open this camp for the kids, and it's looking great. They're all in good moods. But along the way, some of the characters find out that the camp's cursed. There was a drowning years prior. There was a murder, an unsolved murder, and all sorts of crap that went down that ultimately they just ignore. The camp counselors are, cheery. They're young. They're hip and happening, and they just want to have a good time and work and live the best to their lives they can. And again, it's a slow suspense build up as the movie chugs along. There's not a whole lot to these characters. There's not a lot of depth to them. They're interacting with each other. They're, like I said, they're in good moods. They're swimming in the dock, off the dock, jumping off the dock. Huge lake. I think the best parts about this movie, obviously, is when one of the characters gets killed off. I think the kills in this movie are so clever. Like, for instance, one of the characters gets picked up as she's hitchhiking to the Camp Crystal Lake, and she's picked up by the killer. I'm not going to say who it is yet. And she jumps out of of this jeep. She's running for her life in the woods, and the killer obviously ultimately catches up with her, slices her throat with a hunting knife, and that's about it. And I like that the it's not just the POV shots we get; it's the quick editing too. Get Each kill is just when it happens on screen, it's boom, cuts in the next shot. I like those quick takes. I think that's another positive is the camera work here, the editing. We get another clever kill with Kevin Bacon. He is lying down in a bunk in a cabin, on a bunk in a cabin. He just got laid, I think, and the killer is under the bunk and pushes up a an arrow through his neck, and that's cleverly. If you didn't know, it's cleverly done by Tom Savini, who is a master at his art. Yeah, there's a lot of fun. Like I said, there's a lot of fun kills in this one. This one stands out. Obviously, there's a lot of stands out later on in the franchises, but this one, it seems like I don't know. It could be a cult classic. I think more and more audiences in this current generation have seen this one. If you haven't, I urge you guys to start here. Don't jump, to part three, part four, part five. Start at this one. Start, grounded on the ground floor level. Um, I think you're gonna get some tense moments in here, and our lead character, Annie, not Annie, our surviving character in the end, she, I think she's a standout. She definitely has those survival skills towards in the third act, in the grand finale, as she goes toe to toe with the revealing killer and what the killer's motives are. I think the the cinematography here is as good as it's going to get for its time. We get these uh, wide shots of the lake. We get shots of the cabins, outside the cabins. A lot of outdoor scenery takes place in this movie, and I think it's as good as that's going to get. As far as those locations, because a lot of time we spend a lot of time with the characters on site, and we also get some side characters that come and go. They don't add too much to the story, except a creepy guy on a bike. He's from the town. He goes to links, goes to the camp, and spews his point of view about the camp, that it's cursed, you guys are going to die, get out of here. And of course the camp counselors just ignore him. I think what really makes this movie stand out aside from the kills is the theme. The theme is done by Harry Manfredini. Now, if you are familiar with that name, I'm sure he's done other work in other horror movies. The theme to me, when this right away in the opening scene, the theme is played. It's played throughout the movie. It reminded me of the theme in Alfred Hitchcock's Psycho. Take that as you will, but it's clever here. It's done clever here. It was done clever in Hitchcock's film. But this cover will always be memorable, you know. And I think a lot of interpretation about this film is people think Jason Voorhees is in this one and he's the killer. He's this hockey masked killer trying to kill everyone in Camp Crystal Lake. Our killer is Mrs. Voorhees. That's right, the mother of Jason Voorhees. And her backstory is she's pissed off. She, finds out that her only son has drowned. She was little information that she gives out is that she was the cook at Camp Crystal Lake at the time. The camp counselors were off fooling around. They weren't paying attention to her son, who was out in the lake swimming, who didn't have a life jacket, I'm sure, and they weren't watching him. Therefore, he drowned, and it was just a mess. And that set her off. I think everyone who steps foot on the campgrounds is really literally doomed to their death. And she has it in her head that everyone's to blame. Everyone's going to die. And there's a big showdown between our lead character and Mrs. Voorhees, and it's really adds it's a good finale because there's a lot of tension and survival instincts kick in with our lead character. But back to the camp itself, it's beautiful. I like that the movie made it so convincing of this is an actual camp. And Sean S. Cunningham and the following sequels, I think this was Sean S. Cunningham's one and done. I think he moved on to other projects. But yeah, a little known fact, he was struggling financially, and so he needed a win. And so I think this was all the exposure he needed, to get this project off the ground. Oh, I'm sorry. It came out in 1980. This movie is 95 minutes. But yeah, I think another scene of this movie that's memorable is the ending, where our character is on a boat, as you can see here. Yeah, guys. So I wanted to give you this review because it's summertime, and I wanted to throw a really unique review for you guys. Let me know in the comments below. Are you guys fans of the original Friday the 13th film? What's your favorite in the franchise? I feel like a dozen other channels have covered this movie over and over. But yeah, this is a first on the channel, and in fact, I have a review for part 2. So this makes us the second in the franchise. I'm going to give Friday the 13th. Oh gosh, a B. That's right, guys. Stay tuned for more wacky reviews coming soon. All right, take care, guys.
Folks, if you like this video, go ahead and hit that subscribe button. It really helps out in the long run. Darkroom Reviews, it's the place you should be subscribed to. Join the channel. It's free.